Welcome to our channel where we dive into the most chilling and true scary stories caught on camera. Stories that will send shivers down your spine and make you question everything you thought you knew about the world around us. Tonight we're about to embark on a journey into the heart of darkness, exploring 3 terrifying tales that were all captured on film. Viewer discretion is advised. These are not stories for the faint of heart. Imagine this. You check into a seemingly ordinary hotel, a place for travelers to rest their weary heads. The lobby is bustling with activity, the staff is friendly, and everything seems perfectly normal. But little do you know, this place harbors a dark secret. A secret hidden within the walls of room 104. A secret that has been whispered about for years, yet remains shrouded in mystery. This room, once a sanctuary for weary travelers, now plays host to something sinister, something unsettling. The air inside feels heavy, as if the room itself is alive and watching.
A young couple on a romantic getaway decided to spend a night in this infamous room. They were excited, looking forward to a peaceful night together. They were oblivious to the stories, the whispers of strange occurrences that plagued room 104. To them, it was just another room in another hotel. As the night deepened and the couple drifted off to sleep, something stirred in the shadows. The darkness seemed to move, as if it had a life of its own. A cold presence made itself known, the temperature plummeting as an unseen entity moved through the room. The air grew frigid and their breath became visible in the icy air.
The couple awoke to an unsettling feeling, a sense of dread that clung to them like a shroud. Their hearts raced, and they could feel the weight of an unseen gaze upon them. They tried to shake it off, but the oppressive atmosphere in the room was inescapable. Then it started. The room seemed to close in on them, the walls almost breathing. Soft whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, whispering their names, chilling them to the bone. The voices were faint but unmistakable, like a distant echo from another world. They couldn't make out the words, but the voices were undeniably real. It was as if the room itself was trying to communicate with them, to tell them something they couldn't understand. Fear gripped their hearts as they witnessed objects moving on their own, the furniture shifting and creaking as if pushed by invisible hands, furniture scraping against the floor with no visible force behind it. The sound was deafening in the silence of the night, each movement sending shivers down their spines.
The couple, paralyzed with fear, could only watch as the paranormal activity intensified. Their minds raced, trying to make sense of the impossible. They fumbled for their phones, desperate to document the horrors unfolding before their eyes. Their hands shook as they hit the record button, hoping to capture proof of the nightmare they were living. The camera rolled, capturing the terrifying events in grainy detail. The footage was shaky, filled with static, but it was undeniable evidence of the supernatural. The footage, shaky and filled with static, showed the door slamming shut with impossible force, the lights flickering ominously. Each flicker seemed to reveal more of the room's dark secrets. A shadowy figure appeared in the corner of the room, a fleeting glimpse of something not of this world. It was there for just a moment, but it was enough to send them into a panic.
The couple, their screams echoing through the empty hallway, fled the room in terror, their footsteps pounding against the floor as they ran for their lives, leaving behind their belongings and their sanity. Their luggage lay abandoned, a silent testament to the horrors they had faced. The haunting of room 104 was real, and they had the footage to prove it. The evidence was undeniable, a chilling reminder of the night they would never forget. Our next story takes us to the ruins of an abandoned hospital, a place where life and death once intersected. This hospital, once bustling with activity, now stands as a silent witness to the countless lives that passed through its doors. Now it stands as a decaying monument to the past, its walls crumbling and its rooms filled with the echoes of forgotten stories. Its silence broken only by the wind whistling through broken windows, creating an eerie symphony that sends chills down the spine of anyone who dares to enter. This forsaken place, once a beacon of hope, is now a breeding ground for fear, a place where the veil between our world and the next is thin. The stories of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena have turned it into a hotspot for thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts alike.
A group of urban explorers, armed with cameras and a thirst for the unknown, decided to venture into the heart of the abandoned hospital. They were determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. They were drawn to its eerie allure, the stories of unexplained noises and ghostly apparitions that had become local legend. The tales of shadowy figures and disembodied voices were too intriguing to resist. As they stepped through the crumbling entrance, a cold shiver ran down their spines. The air was thick with the weight of countless memories, the echoes of suffering and despair clinging to the walls. The air was thick with the weight of countless memories, the echoes of suffering and despair clinging to the walls. Every step they took seemed to stir the spirits of the past. The walls, once white and sterile, were now stained with the passage of time, each crack and crevice telling a story of its own. Dust-covered medical equipment lay scattered across the floor, remnants of a time when the hospital pulsed with life. The sight of these forgotten tools was a stark reminder of the lives that were once saved and lost here.
The air was heavy with the smell of decay, a musty odor that spoke of long-forgotten tragedies. It was as if the very walls were weeping for the souls that had passed through them, a musty odor that spoke of long-forgotten tragedies. The explorers could almost hear the faint echoes of cries and whispers from the past. As they ventured deeper into the hospital's bowels, they felt a presence following them, watching their every move. The feeling of being watched was almost palpable, sending shivers down their spines. They reached the children's ward, its walls adorned with faded murals of cartoon characters, a cruel reminder of the innocence that once filled these halls. The sight of these cheerful images in such a desolate place was heart-wrenching. A cruel reminder of the innocence that once filled these halls. The laughter of children, once a source of joy, was now replaced by an unsettling silence. The laughter of children, once a source of joy, was now replaced by an unsettling silence. The emptiness of the corridors seemed to amplify the sense of loss and abandonment.
One of the explorers, a seasoned ghost hunter, decided to use his EMF reader, a device used to detect fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, often associated with paranormal activity. He hoped it would provide some answers. A device used to detect fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, often associated with paranormal activity. The device began to beep and flash, indicating a strong presence nearby. The EMF reader spiked, its lights flashing wildly, indicating a strong presence in the room. The explorers exchanged nervous glances, their excitement mingled with fear. The hair on their arms stood on end as they heard a faint whisper, a child's voice calling out from the shadows. The sound was barely audible, but it sent a chill down their spines. A child's voice calling out from the shadows. The voice was filled with a haunting sadness, as if the child was reaching out from beyond the grave. They fumbled for their cameras, their fingers trembling with anticipation and fear. The thought of capturing evidence of the paranormal was both thrilling and terrifying.
The camera lens focused on a shadowy figure at the end of the hallway, a translucent form that seemed to shimmer in and out of existence. The sight was both mesmerizing and terrifying, a translucent form that seemed to shimmer in and out of existence. It was the ghostly figure of a young boy, his eyes filled with a haunting sadness. It was the ghostly figure of a young boy, his eyes filled with a haunting sadness. The explorers, their hearts pounding in their chests, watched in awe and terror as the spectral child glided through the hallway. The explorers, their hearts pounding in their chests, watched in awe and terror as the spectral child glided through the hallway, disappearing into the wall at the far end. The experience left them shaken but also filled with a sense of wonder, disappearing into the wall at the far end. The experience left them shaken but also filled with a sense of wonder. They had come seeking the unknown, and they had found it in the most haunting way possible. Our final story takes us deep into the heart of a dense forest, a place where nature reigns supreme and darkness holds sway. The forest, with its towering trees and thick underbrush, is a world unto itself, a place where the usual rules of civilization seem to fade away. It's here, beneath the canopy of ancient trees, where the air is thick with the scent of pine and the ground is carpeted with fallen leaves, that a group of friends encountered something they could never have imagined. They were drawn to the forest by its beauty and mystery, unaware of the secrets it held.
They set out on a camping trip, eager to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and reconnect with nature. Armed with tents, backpacks, and a sense of adventure, they were ready for a weekend of exploration and relaxation. And a sense of adventure. They felt invincible, as if nothing could go wrong in such a serene setting. We ventured into the woods, our spirits high and our laughter echoing through the trees. The forest seemed to welcome us, its beauty and tranquility a perfect escape from our daily lives. Our laughter echoing through the trees, we felt a sense of camaraderie and freedom that only such a setting could provide. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the forest floor, the atmosphere shifted. The forest, once inviting and warm, began to take on a more ominous tone. We set up camp near a babbling brook, its gentle sound a soothing melody in the stillness of the woods. The brook's presence was comforting, a reminder of the natural world's beauty and serenity. Its gentle sound a soothing melody in the stillness of the woods, providing a sense of peace as night began to fall.
Nightfall descended, enveloping the forest in an inky blackness. The once familiar surroundings now seemed alien and foreboding, the darkness hiding untold mysteries. The friends huddled around a crackling campfire, sharing stories and laughter, their voices a comforting counterpoint to the sounds of the night. The fire's warmth and light were a small island of safety in the vast sea of darkness, their voices a comforting counterpoint to the sounds of the night, which seemed to grow louder and more menacing as the hours passed.
One of my friends, an amateur photographer, decided to capture the beauty of the star-filled sky. The night was clear, and the stars shone brightly, a breathtaking sight that he couldn't resist. He stepped away from their campfire, his camera in hand, eager to find the perfect spot to set up his shot. His eyes searching for the perfect shot, he moved further into the darkness, the campfire's glow fading behind him. As he looked through the viewfinder, adjusting the focus to capture the stars, he noticed something strange in the distance. A figure standing at the edge of the trees, barely visible in the dim light. A figure standing at the edge of the trees, its presence unsettling and out of place in the otherwise serene setting. It was tall and slender, its limbs unnaturally long and thin, giving it an eerie, almost otherworldly appearance. Its limbs unnaturally long and thin, moving with a fluidity that seemed almost inhuman. Its silhouette barely discernible against the dark backdrop of the forest, blending into the shadows in a way that made it seem like a part of the night itself.
Curiosity piqued, the photographer slowly approached the figure, his camera still raised, his mind racing with questions. What was this figure? Why was it here? His finger hovering over the shutter button, he prepared to capture whatever this was on film. He took a step closer, then another, each movement slow and deliberate, his senses heightened by the tension of the moment. His heart pounding in his chest, he could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins, his breath quickening with each step.
He called out, his voice a nervous tremor in the stillness of the night, hoping for some kind of response, some explanation for the figure's presence. But the figure remained silent, motionless, as if it hadn't heard him or simply chose to ignore his presence. Suddenly, the figure turned, its head snapping towards him with unnatural speed. The movement so quick it was almost a blur. Two glowing eyes pierced through the darkness, their intensity sending a chill down the photographer's spine. The eyes seemed to bore into his very soul, filled with an otherworldly malice. He stumbled backward, dropping his camera in his haste to escape, the fear overwhelming his sense of curiosity. He ran back to the campfire, his breath coming in ragged gasps, his mind racing with the terror of what he had just seen. His voice trembling as he recounted his terrifying encounter, the friends listened in stunned silence, the reality of the situation sinking in.
The friends, their faces etched with fear and disbelief, packed up their belongings and fled the woods, the sense of adventure replaced by a desperate need to escape. Leaving behind the crackling campfire, they didn't look back, the memory of the glowing eyes haunting their every step. And the lurking terror that haunted the shadows, a reminder that some mysteries are best left unexplored. The shadows are full of mysteries, and tonight we've only scratched the surface. These chilling tales captured on camera serve as a stark reminder that some things in this world defy explanation. If you enjoyed these spine-chilling stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more real-life horror tales. Until next time, remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction. Stay safe and stay spooky.